Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 3 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 brand new Cricut paper crafts, all with a Christmas or winter theme, every day for 20 days. Today's project are these adorable little penguin lanterns. You can see the lights inside glowing up the snowflakes in their tummies, but to give you a better idea of what it looks like, I'm just going to move one of my camera lights away. Now you can really see the glow coming out of them. Both of these penguin designs, one with his arms down by his side and the other one doing a little wave, are included in today's project. The SVGs for these are free for the next 24 hours. Here is how to find them. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas24. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas24 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus lots of extra bonus designs. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. There are several different types of light that you can use inside your penguin lanterns. The ones that I think work best are these LED submersible lights. There are lots of different types available on places like Amazon. I've got mine in a pack and they came with a couple of remotes. And these are really nice because they glow super bright when you turn them on. You can't see it that brightly on my screen because of my camera lights. If I turn one out, it will be a little bit easier to see. They glow really, really brightly. And as you can see from these ones, they're changing colours. Or you can use the remote to set it on one specific colour. For example, I could change them to red or purple. And I really like that you can go through all the different colours too. And it's even got a few different effects for how you might want to do that. If you don't have these lights, then any kind of battery-powered fairy lights would work well too. Or this is the perfect size to fit in a battery-powered tea light. Just obviously bear in mind it does need to be a battery-powered light, not a real candle, because you're putting it inside cardstock, which is very flammable. And also ideally you want something that doesn't get hot when it's left on as well. And what's even nicer about these is because they come with a remote, you don't need to open them up every time you want to take the lights out or turn them on and off. You can just use the remote and get them all turned off. If you want it even brighter inside, you could even add 2 in there to give it even more colour. Now you've seen which lights to use, let's move on to seeing how to format this in Cricut Design Space so that it's all ready to cut, and then I'll show you how to put together these adorable little penguins. When you're uploading the SVGs for these penguin lanterns, there's something I want to make you aware of, which might make you wonder if there's something wrong with the file when you're doing the upload, but I can assure you there isn't. And that is, when you drag in the SVG file, you might notice that it looks like this. So it appears that all of the parts of the lantern that should be in this space are completely missing. They are there, it's just I've made them a slight off-white colour so they're easier to see on your Design Space canvas, which means they're now so similar in colour to this grey box that Design Space puts behind the SVG preview that you can't see the pieces. So if you upload them and it looks like this, don't worry, it is not missing anything. They are all there, which you will be able to see when you press continue. Now you can just about see those pieces. They're still pretty faint, but once you click upload, now you can see, I just added a copy of that there. Now you can see all the pieces of the lantern are actually included. If you're not sure how to get to this step, check out the Foundation Learning section on the schedule page for the Christmas Craft Countdown. Within there are links to lots of other tutorials that may be helpful throughout the countdown, but one of them in there is a full step-by-step on how to upload SVGs into Cricut Design Space. Both of the penguins work in exactly the same way. So I'm going to delete this little waving one here and just show you how to do it with the one with his arms by his side. Each version of the penguin comes as a separate SVG in your download folder. So if you want to make both of them, then you'll have to upload both of the SVGs. Let's have a little look at what we've got. So I'm going to look down. You can see we've got the pieces of the structure of the lantern and then the 6 sides, which will make up all of the little slotted bits in there. And then at the bottom are 6 blue shapes. These are intended to be cut from a translucent material such as vellum or tracing paper, and that's so that they'll cover the backs of all these little snowflakes so that you can't see your lights inside, as in the actual physical light mechanisms. But because you're using something that's translucent, the light will still shine out, so you'll get all the beautiful effect of all these snowflakes being lit up, but without seeing any wires or any plasticky bits inside. If you don't have any vellum or tracing paper, then you can use something clear like acetate instead, or maybe even the protective cover from an old Cricut mat. But because that would be completely see-through, you might still notice that you can see the actual mechanisms of your lights through the gaps. If you don't have anything suitable to cut these blue bits from, you can delete them and just keep them all as the snowflakes being open. It will still work and be lit up just fine. There's nothing in this file you actually need to change before you can cut it out. One thing I would just check though is that it's loaded in at the correct size. It should come in near enough 10.5 inches wide and 19 inches tall. That's the size of the whole file, not just the lantern. This penguin has been designed so that it will be able to fit a battery-powered tea light. If the lights you're using are smaller than that, you can make it a little smaller if you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and click on Make, and that will separate out all the colours. You can change the paper size if you want to in the drop down here. For example, I could change it to A4, and then you can click and drag to move things about to take up less space on your cardstock. Just make sure when you're moving things that nothing overlaps, otherwise it won't cut out properly. And don't forget, the bright blue layer should be cut from vellum, tracing paper, or something else that's similar to that. I tend to use either the copy paper setting or the light cardstock setting with less pressure when I'm cutting my vellum out, my tracing paper. I find that that works well on that really, really thin, kind of almost plasticky material. If you are finding that it's tearing, try a lighter cut setting and that should work better. So go ahead, get everything cut out from cardstock, and then I'll show you how to put together your adorable little penguin lanterns. Here is one of my penguins all cut out and ready to be stuck together. These are all the pieces of the main lantern, and then we've also got 2 structure pieces and a large and a smaller circular piece. And then there are 6 of these snowflake side panels and 6 of the vellum pieces to stick behind. We'll start by doing the sticking of the vellum pieces. So I've already done 5 of mine. You can see I've got my vellum on the back of here, which is giving it a nice translucent effect. You can see through it a little bit, but it's not completely transparent. And then on the back, this is where it's all been glued on. So I've got 5 done, but I'll show you how to do it with the one remaining one. It's super hard to see because it's all white and see-through on a white table, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I'm going to turn this upside down, and you know it's upside down when you've got the little circle on top of the snowflake. That very top circle right here is on the right-hand side. That means this is the underside or the back of the piece. So when it's actually in the lantern, that little circle will appear on the left. So turn it upside down, place it down on your work surface, and then we're going to need our translucent pieces. There's a tiny triangle cut out on the bottom. My one actually tore a little bit, so this was a bad example to choose. I should have used one of the other ones. But yours should have a tiny little triangle cut on one side, and that's the bottom side, which goes against the flat edge of the side panel. And it's a little bit wider, which is why I put the triangle on so you can see it a bit easier. And then the one that's got the flat edge without the triangle, that goes up against the more curved oval side of the little panel. I'm using Barely Art glue for this, but I also like Collall. The reason I like these two glues is because they don't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like other glues can do. So what I'm going to do is get some glue and put a little bit around the edge of all the snowflakes. You don't need to go right up into the tabs. Just make little horizontal lines along just before the tabs start. And then I can put my vellum or tracing paper on top and line that up so that it fits nicely onto that side panel. And then leave all of those to dry, and we'll put together the penguin. I'm showing you how to do the one with both arms by his side, but the other one where he's waving is exactly the same process, so you can follow this video even if you're making the other one. Okay, I'm going to start with the bottom, which is your lighter blue, and then on top of there will be a white piece which will be glued on top. Line it up as neatly as you can. The most important thing to check when you're sticking these pieces together is that your slits in the top and the bottom of the hole in the penguin's tummy are still nice and open. So don't overlap your cards so that you don't have these gaps anymore. Otherwise you won't be able to put the lantern structure together. And then on top of that goes the darker layer, which will also be glued. Next, I'll do his beak and his feet, and for these, let's have a little bit of dimension with some foam squares. Alternatively, you can glue them if you prefer. These are the foam squares that I'm using from Dot and Dab, but any will do. I'm just going to add some directly onto where those feet are going, and also a couple in that beak section too, and then peel off the tops to reveal the stickiness underneath. And we're lining these up. Make sure you keep a nice flat edge along the bottom, otherwise your little penguin might not stand up very well. I think adding those with a little bit of foam just gives a bit of extra cuteness to it. And now we've got the eyes and the cheeks left. I like to position all of these on the penguin before I start gluing to make sure that I'm happy with the positions. It works best if the little holes in the eyes are both facing the same direction on the left and right. So like this, I've got the holes both on that top left, so he looks like he's looking in the same direction. And then the cheek pieces go a little bit underneath on the right hand side, like that. You could leave those off if you wanted and just have the eyes, or you could even leave it all off completely and maybe add some googly eyes or something like that. The other one is exactly the same little face on there. Okay, now I know I'm happy with that. I'm going to start gluing these pieces on. Just a little bit of glue on the back of each one, and then get them back into position. Just checking I've got the right side of these. I've used a really textured card for the cheeks, just for a little bit of extra fanciness. It's great for using up your card scraps, this project, because the orange and pink, you only need just those tiny little bits. So rather than cutting into a new sheet of card, if you've got some scraps left over from something else, then go on, use them. Don't leave them sitting in a drawer forevermore. He is really cute. I love him. Just gonna put the pin in my glue before I forget, so it doesn't dry out. Oh, come on. There we go. And then wait for that to dry. Actually, it probably has dried enough already. The Bearly Art glue dries pretty quick. So we can start putting together the structure. And you've got two pieces. One of them has two little slits in this top bit. You see I've got one and then two. And then in the bottom section here, there's also two slits. This is the one we'll be putting on next. The one that's just got the two slits, so one at the top, one at the bottom, this one will go on third. Well, technically second. Depends how you look at it. If you look at this as piece 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so the one with the two slits, top and bottom, it's going to slide into here and go in this slit and down in this one. Go all the way up, then very carefully pull it through, trying not to bend the card. It's a little bit flimsy and fragile, but then the bottom bit will slot into that bottom hole, so then it stays held in place. Hold it flat against the penguin, then take in the other piece of structure. We're going to do the same thing. So first, slot this over the ones that are already there. Gently and carefully pull it through and slot over the bottom. Then it will open up into something that ends up with 6 sides, and it should be freestanding at this point. Next, we need the 2 circular pieces of card. I prefer to start with the smaller circle, which goes in the top of the lantern, but it doesn't actually matter which way around you do it. These circles have got little slits inside all the way around, and actually that one hasn't quite cut very well. I'm just going to clear that where it's got a little bit of card in the middle. Okay. And then those slits go into the little slots in the side of each of these structure pieces, including on the penguin itself. And this will hold it all in place and make it really rigid. So I'm going to put it in and then work around, and this bit is super hard to show on camera, but I'm carefully maneuvering it to get all of those slits in place one at a time. And you might find that you need to wiggle some upwards and get them almost in position, and then work on another one before you can get the first one exactly in place. Just depends a little bit on how thick your card is and how easily it can wiggle about. But once you've got them all in there, you'll find that that circle holds itself in place. And if you look at it from the other way up, it should be nice and flat. So that's in there really securely. And then it's exactly the same with the larger circle, and that this time it goes in the bottom of the structure. So once again, I am just wiggling this round, getting it all where it needs to go. And there's that one. Again, it's nice and flat and held securely in place. Only one thing left to do, which is to add the sides on. These all have the same pattern, so it doesn't matter which way around you put them. Just make sure that the edge with the oval tab is at the top and the flat one is at the bottom. So you can start, and this goes up through the hole in the structure and then tuck it in to the hole at the bottom. It all stays held in place without any glue on these side panels, which is really nice because it means that after Christmas you can easily take these out and then take out your structure pieces and the circles, just unclip them from all those little slits and slots, and then you can store it flat for next year, which makes it so much easier to store, and it will take up way less space. Then next Christmas you can get it out and have all the fun of building it again. I'm going to keep going round until I've got 5 of these in place. There's my 3 on the front. And then there's also 3 for the back. I'll leave the middle one open for now to put my light inside. But you can leave any of them, it doesn't matter. And now put your lights in here. So I've got my submersible light. Let's put it in. Make sure it's nice and flat. Like that. And now my final side piece can go on. If you're using lights that need turning on and off on the actual light itself, these are really easy to take in and out of place so that you can get to that. And the last bit's always slightly trickier to put in than the others because you can't reach around in the middle to put that bottom bit in. But there we go. My little penguin is all done. I can use my remote to turn on the light. And there he goes. And that also turned on this one. They're both glowing beautifully. And if I turn my camera light out, then you can see them a little bit easier. I'm even going to try turning the other light out. This might make it a little bit too dark. We'll give it a try. There we are. Okay, so you can see these penguins glowing. They're so lovely and they're a really nice size to put on a sideboard or a shelf or even as a centerpiece on your table for Christmas dinner. I hope you've enjoyed making these penguin lanterns with me. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Christmas crafts. If you like these lanterns and you'd like to make even more designs for Christmas, check out the Instant Access bundle for the Christmas Craft Countdown, as that has 6 additional lantern designs that are only included as part of that bundle and not with the free tickets for this Christmas Craft Countdown. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow for day 4 of the Christmas Craft Countdown. Bye!